It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the films of September 17th, 1999. 3 films to look at today, so let's just jump on into it. We'll start off with the biggest new release of the weekend, and that is Martin Lawrence in the comedy Blue Streak. So this is actually inspired by a 1965 film called The Big Job, and you have Martin Lawrence playing a jewel thief who tries to retrieve a diamond he left at a police station, whereupon he disguises himself as a detective and gets paired with a real policeman, played by Luke Wilson, to investigate burglaries. This would never fly today, but, I don't know, maybe it would, but regardless, this is still a pretty funny movie, and I'm talking about watching it here. This is a comedy. It's supposed to be not supposed to be taken that seriously, and the film clearly lets you know right from the get-go that, yeah, this is not meant to be taken seriously whatsoever. I mean, just, there's no way that this would work in real life. This guy would just come up and pretend to be a police officer. They would have arrested him pretty quickly once they found out who he really was, but again, to me, trying to bring logic into this, this is a really funny movie, man. Martin Lawrence is so good in this film. I mean, this is a film that his character just fits him so well. A ton of great, silly, slapsticky, over-the-top comedy. Just really funny stuff in here. You have a great cast that includes Luke Wilson, Dave Chappelle, Nicole Ari Parker, William Forsythe, Peter Green. I mean, there's a really good amount of people in here. You saw Octavia Spencer in one of her early film roles in this film. And I believe that was Octavia Spencer. Okay, it's weird here because on the Wikipedia page for Blue Streak, she's not listed in the credits. But if you go to her Wikipedia page, it's listed in the filmography. So that's why I got confused there for a second. I didn't know. I didn't want to get it confused and say that was somebody that wasn't supposed to be. But yeah, that's one of Octavia Spencer's early film roles before eventually she went on to become the actress that we know her as today. But like I said before, man, this is a really funny movie. It's a film that is just, it knows exactly what type of movie it is. It knows what it's trying to be. It's interesting because this is directed by Les Mayfield, whose previous film was Flubber, a film that thought maybe it was trying to be much sillier than it had any intentions on being, but it was too silly for its own good. Plus, it had a premise that just, you were hoping, you just needed a lot of the ability to not know what logic is to make this work, and that film didn't do it well, but this film clearly has an indication that the logic in this does not make any sense whatsoever. We're supposed to be laughing at the silly, ridiculous, over-the-top moments in here, and the results speak for themselves, man. This is a film that is really, really funny, and supposedly there was going to be a sequel to this, but they never did it, which, you know what, I'm good with that, because, let's be honest, most comedy sequels do not do so well, but the script was actually later reused for the Chris Rock, Anthony Hopkins movie Bad Company, which, when we get to that movie, you'll notice a lot of similarities between this movie Blue Streak, as well as that film. But needless to say, this is the much better film, and it is a very funny movie. It's a very silly, very ridiculous comedy that just has so many good elements to it that make me laugh out loud. It's a really good film. I really enjoy it a lot. It's a silly movie that knows exactly what it is, and it does a good job of making you believe the silliness of it. Yeah, it's very fun. I enjoyed it a lot. So that's Blue Streak. So let's go ahead and move on to the next movie we have here, and that is Sam Raimi's For the Love of the Game. So yeah, that's Kevin Costner, and also Kelly Preston is in here as well. I keep forgetting that Kelly Preston's no longer with us anymore, man. That's just, I always liked her as an actress, even though a lot of the movies that she was in were not as great as they should have been, but the way she died, that's just way too sad to think about that. But this movie follows the perfect game performance of an aging star baseball player, played by Kevin Costner, as he deals with the pressures of pitching in Yankee Stadium in the Bronx for his final outing by calming himself with memories about a long-time relationship. And, of course, Kevin Costner made probably the greatest baseball movie of all time, one of the greatest baseball movies of all time, with Field of Dreams. But let's talk about Sam Raimi, because you look at the trailers for this, and you look at that commercial, you would have never figured that this is a Sam Raimi movie, because his style is not in here. And, you know, it'd be something, you know, that's fine. I mean, for a director like him, like, his style doesn't really need to be in there. It's nice to see him do something a little bit outside of his norm, but he explained why he took this on. He basically said that he was moved by the script. He was moved, and simply that he loved baseball, and he thought that he hadn't really been put on film. It hadn't really been put on film, and he wanted to see it in widescreen format. And he thought that would be exciting for the audience, like being in a game. But I don't know, like the idea of this guy having all these memories while he's on the mound, and like he's having all these memories, and people probably in that audience are just like, "What the hell is this guy doing?" Somebody want to check on him because like some of that could be a little bit distracting at times, and it definitely shows in the film. In fact, the movie was actually cut down several times. They had to basically remove a lot of lines in the film to prevent the film from getting to an R rating, and Kevin Costner said didn't like the edits, but Universal overruled him by saying that his contract specific. He said that he only had final cut privileges so long as the film was PG-13 and had a runtime of less than 2 hours and 10 minutes. And he even actually, a week before the movie hit theaters, went to voice his complaints to Newsweek, and Universal said that, basically just told him that, yeah, Kevin Costner, he can agree with he agrees with Costner on the cuts. The chairman of the Universal said this, but he's not the director, and it's not fair to hijack a $50 million asset. So you could tell that this film probably put Universal and Kevin Costner on really bad terms, but she had a point. This was not his movie, but unfortunately the film itself, though, as much as it had the highest intentions from Sam Raimi, it just really didn't work overall. Like, the biggest problem with the film is that it's just a sappy love story, and you really need a good chemistry between Kevin Costner as well as Kelly Preston to really make it work. And they're fine in the film, but not enough to really carry the film overall. And yeah, it's kind of a step backwards for Sam Raimi, because A Simple Plan really showed what he can do outside of the genre movies that he had made beforehand. He can make a really good thriller out of that. But this, it just feels like a film that's been done to death. I mean, Kevin Costner's playing the nice guy like he played in Field of Dreams, that gets put on this adventure of his. And it just doesn't work overall. It's a really sappy movie. It's a film that you could tell was clearly put out around this time to be an Oscar contender, you know, to give Kevin Costner a chance to win another Oscar, which did not work because this film did not get any Academy Awards. In fact, far from it, he got a Razzie Award for this, but then again, the credibility of the Razzie Awards can be very much into question. Yeah, bottom line, this is not a good movie. It's a really, really lame film. It's not even a bad movie. It's just a boring film that doesn't have anything to make it work. And for Sam Raimi, I gotta give him credit for trying to do something a little bit different, but this felt like a step backwards for him big time, especially after A Simple Plan. But luckily for him, he would rebound pretty quickly after this, because his next movie would actually be a movie that was right in line with A Simple Plan, something a little bit outside of his norm, but that would be The Gift, which would come out the year after this. But we'll eventually get to that one when we get to that one. But for this film, yeah, hard pass on this film, unfortunately. So let's get to the best movie overall this weekend, the year's Best Picture winner, and that is Sam Raimi's American Beauty. This is a story about how you have this guy played by Kevin Spacey, who's an advertising executive who has a midlife crisis when he becomes infatuated with his teenage daughter's best friend, played by Mina Suvari. Annette Bening plays his wife, who has an affair with Peter Gallagher, and Thora Birch plays the insecure daughter who ends up having a relationship with the next-door neighbor, played by Wes Bentley. You also have Chris Cooper, Allison Janney. This is a film that went on to become a big hit when it came out, and then eventually won 5 Academy Awards, including Best Director, Best Actor for Spacey, Best Original Screenplay for Alan Ball, who later go on to make 6 Feet Under, Best Cinematography for Conrad L. Hall, and Best Picture of the Year, which one of the few times the Academy Awards got it right, because this was a really good film when it came out in 1999. It's very questionable, the stuff that happens in this film nowadays, and yeah, I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend like the stuff that's happened in the 20 years since then has kind of hurt the film's overall legacy since then. Of course, the big thing is that Kevin Spacey, of course, was at the height of the Me Too movement. He was, as it meant to many critics and one of Spacey's accusers, to find uncomfortable parallels between his character and Kevin Spacey in real life. But the big difference in this movie is that, yeah, Kevin Spacey is a sick, twisted person in the film, and yeah, he's close to actually having sex with this teenage girl, but in the end, he doesn't do it. I mean, I guess that's something that you could say towards the film, and like, basically, he doesn't do it because she said she's been a virgin, and he's taken aback by that and realizes that his existence was a veil for her innocence, and he can't continue with that. And yeah, I know a lot of people can take that the wrong way nowadays, but watching the movie again not too long ago, I still think this film holds up, is still a very good film. At times it doesn't hold up very well, but just the artistic style of this movie just is so pleasing to look at. Some of the visuals in here really are impressive, and you have a great cast overall in here. I mean, Kevin Spacey plays the scumbag role very well here. He has a lot of great lines in the film, and yeah, it's easy to see why he won the Best Actor Oscar for this. Annette Bening has a great job of having to combat with him throughout for some of the best lines in the film, and she's really good in the film. I think this is the film that made people realize that Annette Bening really is a damn good actress, and she really can hold her own against somebody like Kevin Spacey. Mina Suvari, Thora Birch, they're very good in here. Wes Bentley is decent in here. His character probably is the weak link of the film, because he really just doesn't have a whole lot to do in terms of the overall story, and he doesn't really have much of a relationship with Thora Birch in the film. It's a film that really is described as, a lot of people, academics say that it's describing how, satirizing how beauty and personal satisfaction are perceived by the American middle class. Further analysis on this has included stuff like romantic and maternal love, sexuality, materialism, self-liberation, and redemption. And yeah, you can definitely see that in this film. I'm not going to be one of those people that say that it's not a good film even after all these years. This is still one of my favorite movies of all time, and like, Kevin Spacey really is very good in the film, despite everything that's happened to him since then. You can't deny that this guy is a damn good actor. Yeah, he did a lot. He did a lot of things that he'll probably regret later on down the road when nobody's really given him any acting roles to do. But I mean, he's really good in the film, and he really shows why he deserved to win the Oscar for this film. It's a funny movie. It's a well-made drama. It's a visually pleasing-looking film. I love this movie. I mean, I still love it after all these years, even after everything that's gone on in the decades since then. I still really enjoy this movie a lot. American Beauty is one of my favorite movies from the year, and I'm glad it won Best Picture. I still think it holds up. I think it holds up for the majority of it, even after all these years, and it's still a really good film. I highly recommend it. And so on that note, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies. We'll wrap September up on the next episode with 3 films, including Ashley Judd and Tommy Lee Jones in Double Jeopardy, Robin Williams and Jacob the Liar, and we also have Mumford. And we'll throw this one in too. Dennis Rodman and Simon Says. I mean, we could throw that in as well. Not going to be as good as the other films we'll be talking about, but and again, there's not a whole lot of big winners in this particular week, but 4 movies to look at next time around, and we'll delve into those on the next episode. So until then, thank you so much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the playlist on the next page, check out the previous episode, and also don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this on this channel. So with that said, I am off. I will see you guys next time, and until then, as always, take care.